There's stuff carved into the bedrock in India that just is mind-boggling, very enigmatic, obviously left over from a time where advanced ancient technology existed. History, the way we've been taught, is very limited to a time frame of maybe 6,000 years. And academia is still trying to say that this relatively primitive culture built it, which is completely impossible.
If you have a relatively short time frame to deal with, then searching for a lost civilization becomes much more complex and much more difficult. But if you have a very long time frame to deal with, there's much more material to investigate.
Welcome to our journey through the ancient world as we explore the awe-inspiring Lion Gate and the citadel of Mycenae. Built around 1250 BC, these monumental structures have long captivated historians and archaeologists alike.
History is largely that period for which we have written documents, and archaeology is the period before that where we don't have written documents.
Was it the legendary Cyclopes who constructed these massive walls and intricate reliefs, or did the Mycenaeans possess advanced engineering skills far beyond their time?
There are unexplained issues in our past, which are presently not explained by the system that teaches us about the past.
Join us as we unravel the mysteries of these incredible feats of ancient architecture and delve into the legends that surround them. The Lion Gate, located in Hattusa, Turkey, dates back to around 1400 BC. This gate served as the main entrance to the ancient city of Hattusa, the capital of the Hittite Empire. Known for its military prowess, extensive diplomatic networks, and advanced legal and political systems, the Hittite Empire was a significant power in the ancient Near East. Hattusa was a sprawling city that functioned as the political, cultural, and religious heart of the empire. The construction of the Lion Gate during the height of Hittite power reflects the empire's wealth, military strength, and sophisticated architectural skills. The Lion Gate is a monumental stone gateway flanked by two massive lion sculptures carved from single blocks of limestone. These lions, with their fierce expressions and detailed craftsmanship, were intended to ward off evil and protect the city. Their imposing presence symbolized strength and authority, reinforcing the power of the Hittite rulers.
I think we're confronted by an enormous mystery with megalithic sites all around the world, and we don't understand them properly.
The gate is part of the larger fortification system of Hattusa, which included extensive walls, gates, and towers. These fortifications were designed not only for defense, but also to demonstrate the might of the Hittite civilization. The walls of Hattusa, stretching over 8 kilometers, enclosed the city and protected its inhabitants from potential invaders. The lion sculptures at the gate are approximately 2 meters high, and the gate itself stands about 4.5 meters high and 4 meters wide. The stones used in the construction were quarried locally from the limestone-rich areas around Hattusa. Each stone block used in the gate's construction weighed several tons, reflecting the advanced engineering skills of the Hittites. The limestone used for the lions and the gate was quarried from nearby sources, likely within a few kilometers of Hattusa. Transporting these massive stones required advanced engineering techniques. The Hittites probably used sledges to move the stones over land, possibly with the aid of rollers or lubricated tracks to reduce friction. The Lion Gate was first brought to light in modern times by Charles Texier, a French archaeologist, who visited Hattusa in 1834. Texier's sketches and descriptions of the gate and the ruins of Hattusa sparked interest in the site among European scholars. Extensive excavations were carried out by the German Archaeological Institute starting in the early 20th century. Significant contributions came from archaeologists such as Hugo Winkler and Kurt Bittel. Winkler, who began his work in Hattusa in 1906, made groundbreaking discoveries, including the archives of clay tablets that provided invaluable insights into Hittite history and language. Kurt Bittel continued excavations mid-century, further uncovering the city's layout and monumental structures. Hattusa was abandoned around 1200 BC, likely due to a combination of factors. One prominent theory is the invasions by the Sea Peoples, a confederation of naval raiders who attacked various regions in the eastern Mediterranean. These invasions coincided with widespread turmoil and the collapse of several ancient civilizations. Internal strife and economic decline also contributed to Hattusa's abandonment. There is evidence of repeated attacks on the city, leading to its eventual desertion.
We're going to see more physical evidence for this, more as time goes by.
The decline of Hittite power left Hattusa vulnerable to both external threats and internal instability. The citadel of Mycenae, located in Greece, dates back to around 1250 BC. The Lion Gate, the main entrance to the citadel, is a remarkable feature of this site, which was one of the major centers of Greek civilization during the Late Bronze Age. Often associated with the legendary King Agamemnon from Homer's epics, the Iliad and the Odyssey, Mycenae was a dominant cultural and military hub. The Mycenaean civilization flourished between 1600 BC and 1100 BC, known for its impressive architectural achievements, advanced administrative systems, and extensive trade networks. The Lion Gate is a prime example of Mycenaean architecture and engineering. The gate features a single massive lintel stone, weighing approximately 20 tons, spanning the top of the gateway, supported by two massive upright stones or jambs. Above the lintel, a triangular relief features two lions standing on either side of a central column. This heraldic symbol is unique in Mycenaean art and likely represents royal power and divine protection. The walls surrounding the gate are constructed using Cyclopean masonry, a technique involving the use of large, irregular limestone boulders fitted together without mortar. The term Cyclopean derives from the later Greek belief that only the mythical Cyclopes could have moved such enormous stones. The gateway measures approximately 3 meters wide and 3 meters high. The limestone blocks used in its construction weigh up to 20 tons each, with the monolithic lintel stone itself weighing around 20 tons and measuring about 4.5 meters long, 2 meters wide, and 1 meter thick. These limestone blocks were quarried from the nearby hills of Mycenae. Transporting and constructing with these massive stones required significant manpower and advanced engineering techniques. It is believed that the Mycenaeans used sledges and wooden rollers, along with a coordinated workforce, to move these heavy stones from the quarry to the construction site. This feat demonstrates the Mycenaeans' organizational capabilities and their sophisticated understanding of mechanical principles. The Lion Gate was first described by travelers in the 18th and 19th centuries, but systematic archaeological excavation began with Heinrich Schliemann in the late 19th century. Schliemann, an amateur archaeologist inspired by the works of Homer, conducted excavations at Mycenae starting in 1876. His work, though sometimes criticized for its lack of scientific rigor, brought significant attention to the site. Schliemann's discovery of the so-called Mask of Agamemnon and other gold artifacts in the royal tombs at Mycenae was a sensational find, though the mask was later dated to a period earlier than Agamemnon's supposed time.
I think the dating of quite a number of megalithic sites needs to be reconsidered.
Subsequent excavations by Greek archaeologist Christos Tsountas in the early 20th century further uncovered the citadel's layout, including its walls, royal tombs, and palace complex. Tsountas' work helped to establish a more comprehensive understanding of Mycenaean architecture and society. Archaeological research at Mycenae has continued through the 20th and 21st centuries, involving contributions from various scholars and institutions. The Mycenaean civilization began to decline around 1100 BC, and historians continue to debate the exact causes. A combination of natural disasters, invasions by the Dorians, and internal strife likely contributed to this decline. Earthquakes and other natural events may have weakened the infrastructure of Mycenaean cities, making them more vulnerable to external threats. The arrival of the Dorians, a Greek-speaking people, is often cited as a significant factor in the collapse of Mycenaean civilization. The Dorians are believed to have brought about social and economic disruptions. Additionally, political instability and internal conflicts may have further exacerbated the decline of Mycenaean society. Despite its decline, the citadel of Mycenae remained an important cultural symbol in later Greek tradition. It was remembered in Greek mythology and literature as the seat of King Agamemnon and a center of wealth and power. The use of the relieving triangle above the lintel stone was an innovative architectural technique. This feature reduced the weight on the lintel and prevented structural failure, showcasing the Mycenaeans' sophisticated understanding of building techniques. The location of Mycenae and its fortifications made it a crucial military and administrative center. The citadel's position allowed for control over important trade routes and offered a defensible stronghold in times of conflict. Heinrich Schliemann's excavations at Mycenae, although controversial, brought to light significant artifacts, including gold masks, jewelry, and weapons. Mycenae's association with legendary figures like Agamemnon has cemented its place in Greek mythology and literature. The stories of the Trojan War and the exploits of Mycenaean heroes have been passed down through generations, preserving the cultural legacy of the site. The precision with which the massive limestone blocks were cut and fitted together in the Lion Gate and other structures at Mycenae indicates a high level of skill in stonemasonry and architectural design. The Mycenaeans likely employed specialized craftsmen who were adept at working with large stones. The Cyclopean walls of Mycenae, characterized by their massive, irregularly shaped stones, were named for the mythical Cyclopes, whom later Greeks believed had built the walls. These fortifications were not only formidable barriers against invaders, but also symbols of the citadel's strength and permanence.
Show me one other site which is 12,000 years old, which is built out of megaliths. Show me a site. There was no culture in the world 12,000 years ago that was capable of that level of organization. If there was, we would find other sites.
Welcome to the mysteries of Sigiriya, the ancient sky fortress perched high above the jungles of Sri Lanka. Imagine a towering rock rising 660 feet into the sky, topped with a palace that seems to touch the clouds. But the questions that boggle the mind are, why and how did ancient humans build such an awe-inspiring structure, complete with a vast body of water high above the ground? In today's video, we'll climb the steps of Sigiriya, uncover its hidden secrets, and explore the incredible engineering feats of the past. Stay tuned as we unravel how this fortress was not just a marvel of beauty, but a masterpiece of ancient technology. Did you know that the stunning Sigiriya, or Lion Rock, has a story that reaches deep into the history of Sri Lankan royalty? This tale begins in the 5th century AD, chronicled vividly in the ancient Kulavamsa. This epic documents the saga of King Kasyapa, who ruled from 477 to 495 CE. In a dramatic twist of events, Kasyapa seized the throne from his half-brother Moggallana, setting the stage for a story of intrigue and architectural marvel. To safeguard himself against potential retaliation, Kasyapa moved the capital from Anuradhapura to the formidable Sigiriya Rock. There, atop a 200-meter-high granite monolith, he commissioned the construction of a fortress and a luxurious palace, a clear display of his wealth and a testament to his architectural vision. However, after the fall of Kasyapa's dynasty, Sigiriya slipped into the shadows, cloaked by dense forest overgrowth and fading from collective memory. It wasn't until 1831 that the site re-emerged into the spotlight. That year, Major Jonathan Forbes of the 78th Highlanders, part of the British Army, rediscovered Sigiriya during a horseback expedition through the central forests of what was then Ceylon, now known as Sri Lanka. Stumbling upon this magnificent rock fortress and its ruins, Forbes's findings reignited global interest. His detailed writings and sketches brought Sigiriya back from obscurity, captivating colonial officials and scholars alike, and paving the way for future archaeological explorations. Following the rediscovery of Sigiriya by Major Jonathan Forbes, the archaeological spotlight turned toward this enigmatic structure, leading to its eventual excavation. The initial efforts to study Sigiriya were rather haphazard, lacking a systematic approach typical of early antiquarian activities in the region. However, a significant shift occurred in 1895 when H.C.P. Bell, the first Commissioner of Archaeology for Ceylon and a British archaeologist, took charge. Bell's structured investigations laid the groundwork for understanding Sigiriya's complex layout and rich historical tapestry, illuminating various facets of its construction and artistic achievements. As the 20th century progressed, the Department of Archaeology of Sri Lanka took the helm, bringing a new level of rigor to the exploration of Sigiriya. These systematic archaeological excavations really began to take shape by the mid-century, further accelerated when Sigiriya was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in the 1980s. This period marked intense activities that included detailed mapping of the site, careful excavation of the gardens, and meticulous restoration of the ancient frescoes. Speaking of frescoes, these vibrant paintings on Sigiriya's western face are truly a sight to behold. Depicting celestial maidens known as apsaras, these artworks showcase the exceptional skill of ancient Sri Lankan artists. Created with natural mineral pigments, these frescoes have withstood the ravages of time, their colors still vivid after more than 1,000 years. Their creation technique, reminiscent of the fresco secco method seen in India's Ajanta caves, highlights a shared artistic tradition across the region, though Sigiriya's frescoes have a unique stylistic flair that seems to capture the maidens in ethereal motion, as if floating in the air. The site's water gardens are yet another marvel. Unearthed through diligent excavation, these gardens reveal an intricate hydraulic system featuring pools, pavilions, and dynamically engineered fountains. This level of sophistication in water management suggests comparisons with the legendary Hanging Gardens of Babylon, illustrating that such engineering marvels were not confined to the Western world. Sigiriya's gardens were not only aesthetically pleasing but also a demonstration of advanced hydraulic technology and urban planning by ancient engineers. Then there's the mirror wall, originally so well polished that it reflected King Kasyapa's image as he passed. Over centuries, this wall became a canvas for the thoughts and musings of visitors, covered in inscriptions that date back to the 6th century. These writings, ranging from poetry to personal reflections, provide a unique glimpse into the minds of ancient travelers, similar to modern-day guestbooks. This tradition of leaving one's mark is a human impulse seen across cultures and epochs, evident in places as far-reaching as the pyramids of Giza, where ancient graffiti also tells stories of those who came before us. Exploring further into the architectural wonders of Sigiriya, let's delve into why this location was chosen for such a grand fortress. The natural setting of Sigiriya itself offers some clues. Rising about 200 meters above the plains, the sheer height of this massive rock column provided unparalleled defensive benefits. This elevation was not just daunting for potential invaders to scale, but it also offered inhabitants a broad vantage point, allowing them to see for miles and spot any approaching threats long before they reached the fortress. The rock's steep and rugged sides further shielded the fortress, making direct assaults nearly impossible without advanced siege techniques. Just above the water gardens, the boulder gardens of Sigiriya paint a vivid picture of how natural landscapes were skillfully incorporated into the fortress's design. This area is dotted with large, naturally occurring boulders that have been cleverly integrated into the overall layout. Winding pathways snake around these colossal stones, leading to hidden nooks and strategic lookout points. These boulders weren't just pleasing to the eye, they played a crucial role in the fortress's defense, acting as natural barriers and fortified posts. This strategic use of natural rock formations is somewhat akin to the serene rock gardens of Ryoanji in Kyoto, Japan. Although both gardens feature natural stones, Sigiriya's boulder gardens were primarily designed for defense and control, while Ryoanji's layout aims for contemplation and aesthetic appreciation. Climbing higher, the terraced gardens mark the final stages of the ascent to Sigiriya's summit. Here, a series of staircases and pathways are carved directly into the rock face, not only facilitating access to the top but also allowing for the cultivation of gardens and the construction of small structures along the way. These terraces seamlessly integrate the sheer cliffs into the fortress's architecture, showcasing the ingenuity of ancient Sri Lankan architects who transformed a challenging environment into a livable and defensible space. This method of using terraces can be compared to the ancient Incan city of Machu Picchu, which also features gardens cut into mountainous terrain. Both Sigiriya and Machu Picchu utilized the verticality of their landscapes to enhance agriculture, habitation, and defense, demonstrating a deep understanding of how to adapt architecture to the natural environment effectively. As we've ascended through the layered terraces and lush gardens of Sigiriya, it's impossible not to marvel at its defensive capabilities, which are as impressive as its architecture. The entire fortress was safeguarded by a massive moat and towering walls. The approach to the rock itself was ingeniously designed to be narrow, funneling potential attackers into a tight space where they could be more easily repelled. Throughout the fortress, large boulders were strategically placed, ready to be rolled down on invaders, and certain staircases were cleverly designed to be easily removable or destroyed, preventing enemy progression. At the pinnacle of Sigiriya, extensive residential quarters once stood, serving as the royal abode for King Kasyapa and his retinue. These buildings were robustly constructed from bricks and stones, with some walls still resiliently standing. The stone blocks used in construction, though their exact weight is unknown, are estimated to weigh several tons each, hinting at the remarkable effort that went into their assembly. To create a flat area on the summit, large amounts of rock and soil were excavated, likely requiring immense manpower and possibly even elephant power, underscoring the vast resources at King Kasyapa's command. Drawing an interesting parallel, the construction feats of Sigiriya can be likened to those of the Incas' Machu Picchu in Peru. Both iconic structures were built in demanding locations, yet they demonstrate an extraordinary ability to blend architectural elements with the natural landscape. Machu Picchu, nestled between mountain peaks and featuring agricultural terraces and planned residential areas, echoes Sigiriya's integration of form and function within its environment. The scale of material moved and the meticulousness of Sigiriya's construction spotlight its stature as a marvel of ancient urban planning and engineering. More than just a military stronghold, Sigiriya symbolized royal authority and divine kingship, with its strategic defenses, luxurious residential quarters, and enchanting pleasure gardens all set against the backdrop of ingenious human innovation. This combination not only fortified the fortress physically, but also enshrined it as an indelible symbol of cultural and historical significance in ancient Sri Lanka.
I think that the city of Tiwanaku is one of the most mysterious sites in the world. In a way, it's the New World equivalent of Giza. It's a site about which there are far more questions than answers. All these names that are given to structures at Tiwanaku are entirely arbitrary because we know nothing about the people who built Tiwanaku.
Imagine a civilization capable of constructing massive stone structures with such precision that even modern engineers are left baffled.
God knows how anybody got it up there at 14,000 feet above sea. I could even breathe at 14,000 feet above sea level.
Welcome to Tiwanaku and Puma Punku, ancient sites near Lake Titicaca in Bolivia that have sparked intense debate and fascination. Were the Tiwanaku people wielders of advanced technology, or is there something more mysterious at play in these enigmatic ruins?
Tiwanaku is a very controversial site, and archaeologists would like it not to be much more than 2,000 years old.
Dive into the mysteries of these ancient marvels and explore the theories that challenge our understanding of pre-Columbian history. Tiwanaku is an ancient archaeological site situated near Lake Titicaca in western Bolivia. This site was the heart of the Tiwanaku Empire, a highly advanced civilization that thrived between 300 AD and 1000 AD. Renowned for their impressive architectural and engineering achievements, the Tiwanaku people developed intricate agricultural systems and maintained extensive trade networks that stretched across South America. Their civilization is considered one of the most significant pre-Columbian cultures in the region, leaving a legacy that continues to captivate historians and archaeologists.
The handiwork of humans is clearly evident in this site.
The first European accounts of Tiwanaku came from Spanish conquistadors in the 16th century. Chroniclers like Pedro Chiesa de Leon provided early descriptions of the monumental ruins they encountered, speculating about the origins of these impressive structures. These initial reports highlighted the grandeur and mystery of Tiwanaku, sparking curiosity and interest in the site for centuries to come. In the late 19th century, the first detailed studies of Tiwanaku began to take shape. American archaeologist and diplomat Ephraim George Squire visited the site in 877, meticulously documenting the ruins through detailed descriptions and drawings. His work provided valuable insights into the architectural complexity of Tiwanaku. Around the same time, French explorer Charles Wiener also documented the site, contributing further to the growing body of knowledge about this ancient civilization. These early efforts laid the foundation for ongoing research, ensuring that Tiwanaku remains a vital subject of archaeological study and discovery.
We're going to see more physical evidence for this, more as time goes by.
The key structures and features of Tiwanaku are as fascinating as they are monumental. One of the most significant structures at the site is the Akapana Pyramid. This large, terraced mound stands approximately 16.5 meters high and spans a base area of around 200 meters by 250 meters. The pyramid's design is thought to emulate a sacred mountain, reflecting the religious and cultural importance placed on such natural formations. To prevent water damage and erosion, a sophisticated drainage system was integrated into the pyramid. This system included a network of stone-lined channels and underground conduits that efficiently diverted rainwater away from the structure, showcasing the advanced engineering skills of the Tiwanaku people. The pyramid's terraces were constructed using a combination of large stone blocks and compacted earth. The stone blocks were precisely cut and fitted together without the use of mortar, demonstrating the builders' high level of craftsmanship. Another remarkable feature at Tiwanaku is the Kalasaya complex, a large rectangular enclosure surrounded by high stone walls. The enclosure measures approximately 130 meters by 120 meters. Within the Kalasaya complex stands the famous Gateway of the Sun, a massive monolithic archway carved from a single block of andesite stone. The Gateway of the Sun is about 3 meters high and 4 meters wide, with an estimated weight of 10 tons. The intricate carvings on the gateway include depictions of deities and astronomical symbols believed to be related to the Tiwanaku calendar and cosmology. These carvings highlight the Tiwanaku people's advanced understanding of astronomy and their integration of celestial events into their religious practices.
There's curious astronomical alignments at Tiwanaku. The site was aligned to the summer solstice in 10,500 BC.
Equally impressive is the semi-subterranean temple, an imposing sunken courtyard measuring about 28.5 meters by 26 meters. One of the most distinctive features of this temple is the collection of carved stone heads embedded in its walls. These heads protrude from the walls at various heights and angles, representing a diverse array of facial features. Some scholars suggest that these heads symbolize different ethnic groups or important individuals, reflecting the Tiwanaku civilization's diversity and social complexity. Similarly fascinating is Pumapunku, another marvel of the Tiwanaku civilization. Pumapunku was known to Spanish explorers in the 16th century, just like the main Tiwanaku site. However, it wasn't until the 20th century that modern archaeological efforts brought significant scholarly attention to Pumapunku. Systematic excavations and studies began in earnest in the mid-20th century, revealing the site's unique architectural style and the mysterious techniques used in its construction. The stone blocks at Pumapunku are particularly renowned for their extraordinary precision. The primary materials used are andesite and sandstone, both known for their durability and hardness. The stones are cut with such exactitude that the joints between them are virtually invisible, so precise that even a razor blade cannot fit between the stones. The exact methods used to cut and shape the stones at Pumapunku remain a topic of debate and fascination. Several theories have been proposed to explain the precision and complexity of the stonework. One prevalent theory is that the Tiwanaku people used metal tools made from bronze or copper alloys. These metals are capable of cutting softer stones, but the hardness of andesite presents a significant challenge. However, evidence of bronze and copper tools at other Tiwanaku sites supports this theory. Some stones show marks consistent with the use of chisels or other cutting tools, suggesting that the builders had access to and effectively utilized metal tools. Another theory posits the use of abrasive materials like sand and water to cut and shape the stones. This technique involves rubbing sand and water against the stone's surface to gradually wear it down, potentially explaining the smooth surfaces and precise angles observed at Pumapunku. Large grinding stones could have been used to smooth and polish the stone surfaces after the initial cutting, further contributing to the precise fit of the blocks. Some researchers propose that the Tiwanaku civilization possessed advanced technologies or techniques that have since been lost. This theory suggests they might have had knowledge of sophisticated methods or tools that we do not fully understand today. A fringe theory, popularized by some alternative history proponents, suggests that extraterrestrial beings assisted the Tiwanaku people in constructing Pumapunku.
Some people think that the answer is extraterrestrial visitors. I don't think that's the answer, but who knows?
While this theory captures the imagination, it is not supported by mainstream archaeology and remains speculative. One of the most iconic features of Pumapunku is the presence of H-shaped blocks. These blocks are a testament to the advanced engineering and architectural skills of the Tiwanaku civilization. The H-shaped blocks interlock in a modular fashion, suggesting they were designed to fit together in a specific configuration. This modularity indicates a highly planned and sophisticated approach to construction. The H-blocks vary in size, but many are approximately 1 meter high and wide, with a depth of about half a meter. Each block weighs several tons, with some of the largest estimated to weigh over 10 tons. Creating these H-blocks would have required advanced stone cutting techniques. The precise angles and smooth surfaces indicate a high degree of craftsmanship, pointing to the use of advanced tools or methods. Another fascinating aspect of Puma Punku is the transportation of its massive stone blocks. Some of these blocks weigh over 100 tons and were transported from quarries located several kilometers away. One widely accepted theory is that the Tiwanaku people used wooden sleds to transport the large stone blocks. These sleds could have been pulled by large groups of workers, leveraging human muscle power. The use of log rollers beneath the sleds could have facilitated the movement of the heavy stones. As the sled moved forward, workers would have placed logs in front of it, continuously rolling the sled over the logs. Given the absence of large domesticated draft animals in the region during that period, it is more likely that large teams of workers, organized and coordinated, performed the task using simple machines like levers and inclined planes to aid in lifting and moving the massive stones. The Tiwanaku civilization likely mobilized a substantial labor force with coordinated efforts similar to those used in other ancient construction projects, such as the building of the Egyptian pyramids. Some theories propose that Lake Titicaca, which was larger and closer to the site during the time of the Tiwanaku civilization, could have been used to transport the stones by rafts. This method would have involved floating the stones across the lake before moving them overland for the final leg of the journey. The use of earthen ramps is another plausible theory. Ramps could have been built to gradually elevate the stones to their intended positions. This method would have required significant labor and planning, but is consistent with techniques used by other ancient civilizations. Simple machines such as levers and pulleys could have been employed to lift and position the stones. These tools, combined with ramps, would have allowed the Tiwanaku builders to achieve the precise placement required for their structures. The precision stonework at Puma Punku is often compared to the masonry of the Egyptian pyramids, particularly the Great Pyramid of Giza. Constructed around 2580 to 2560 BCE, the Great Pyramid consists of millions of limestone blocks, some weighing up to 80 tons. The precision of the blocks and the alignment of the pyramid with celestial bodies reflect advanced engineering and architectural knowledge. Similar to the Great Pyramid, Puma Punku's stone blocks are meticulously cut and perfectly fitted together. The precision seen in both sites suggests a high level of planning and execution, pointing to the possibility that both civilizations had advanced knowledge of construction techniques and tools, although the exact methods remain debated.
There was something tremendously significant about Sardinia. Presently, there are 7,000 extant towers on the island of Sardinia. The stones incorporated into some of these towers are massive. On this island, with all of these megalithic towers, there was a cult of giants.
Sardinia, a large island nestled in the Mediterranean Sea, is famous for its unique and ancient megalithic structures known as nuraghi. These prehistoric monuments are emblematic of the Nuragic civilization, which thrived on the island from approximately 1800 BCE until the Roman conquest in 238 BCE. The nuraghi stand as a testament to the ingenuity and craftsmanship of this ancient society, reflecting their remarkable architectural skills, complex social organization, and rich cultural practices.
I think that we are dealing with a lost civilization that was shamanistic in its basis.
The nuraghi of Sardinia weren't discovered in a single moment. Instead, they were gradually recognized and studied over time. These structures have always been a part of the Sardinian landscape, well known to the local population for centuries. It wasn't until the 19th century, however, that they began to attract significant scholarly attention. The initial attempts to document the nuraghi date back to the 16th century, with historians like Giovanni Francesco Fara and Francesco dell'Itala mentioning these impressive structures in their writings. Despite their mentions, systematic studies weren't conducted until much later, and it was only over time that more detailed descriptions and sketches brought wider attention to these ancient edifices. The formal archaeological study of nuraghi took off in the 19th century, spurred by European interest in ancient and prehistoric cultures.
Our understanding of prehistory must change.
Several scholars played crucial roles in the early understanding and cataloging of these structures. One such figure was Alberto La Marmora, a geographer and naturalist who extensively explored Sardinia. In his work, Voyage en Sardaigne, published in 1826, La Marmora provided some of the earliest detailed descriptions and drawings of Nuraghi. His work laid the foundation for future studies and brought international attention to Sardinia's megalithic structures, sparking a wider interest in these fascinating monuments. The increased focus on these ancient structures in the 19th century set the stage for a more systematic approach to their study and preservation. The efforts of these early scholars paved the way for deeper exploration and understanding of the Nuragic civilization, highlighting the profound historical and cultural significance of the Nuraghi in Sardinia's heritage. The megalithic structures of Sardinia, Italy, known as Nuraghi, were constructed by the Nuragic civilization, which thrived on the island. These ancient megalithic edifices served multiple purposes, including fortresses, places of worship, and residences. Characterized by their conical towers and complex designs, over 7,000 of these fascinating structures have been identified scattered throughout Sardinia. They were constructed during the Bronze Age between 1900 BCE and 730 BCE, and they symbolize the advanced construction techniques and societal organization of the Nuragic people. The Nuraghi were first extensively studied in the 19th and early 20th centuries. One of the most notable early researchers was Giovanni Liliu, an Italian archaeologist whose significant excavations and studies in the mid-20th century brought international attention to these ancient structures.
I think the dating of quite a number of megalithic sites needs to be reconsidered.
His work at Nuraga su Nuraxi in Barumini is particularly noteworthy and highlighted the importance of these historical monuments. The Nuraghi are built with large, irregularly shaped stones that fit together without the use of mortar. This dry stone technique is notable for its durability and the precision with which the stones were cut and placed. The stones used in construction vary significantly in size and weight, with some weighing several tons. The largest stones are often used at the base of the structures to provide stability, while smaller stones are placed higher up. These stones were sourced locally, with basalt and limestone being the most commonly used materials, facilitating the widespread construction of Nuraghi throughout Sardinia. Most Nuraghi feature a central conical tower, known as a keep, with one or more surrounding secondary towers. These are connected by a network of walls and passageways. The central tower typically contains one or more interior chambers, sometimes accessed by a spiral staircase. The design of Nuraghi varies, with some being single towers and others forming complex multi-tower structures. One of the most significant Nuraghi is Nuraghe su Nuraxi in Barumini, excavated by Giovanni Liliu in the 1950s. This site features a central tower surrounded by 4 smaller towers, with an extensive village of huts and defensive walls. In 1997, Nuraghe su Nuraxi was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site due to its historical significance and well-preserved state. The central tower stands approximately 18.5 meters high and consists of 3 stories, making it one of the most complex and well-preserved examples of Nuragic architecture. Nuraghe Losa, located in Abasanta, is known for its triangular layout and central tower surrounded by thick walls. It includes a courtyard and additional rooms for various purposes, representing the architectural sophistication of the Nuragic civilization. Built from basalt blocks, Nuraghe Losa features a well-preserved interior with a corbel vaulted ceiling, showcasing the advanced construction techniques of its builders. Another notable Nuraghe is Nuraghe Santu Antin in Torralba, one of the largest Nuraghi, featuring a central tower with 3 smaller surrounding towers connected by a defensive wall. This impressive structure showcases the defensive capabilities and strategic planning of the Nuragic people. Known as Sadomo de su Re, Nuraghe Santu Antin is one of the most majestic Nuraghi, with a central tower that reaches up to 17 meters in height. The Nuragic civilization of Sardinia is renowned for its fascinating megalithic structures, and beyond the iconic Nuraghi, there are several other remarkable sites and artifacts that offer deeper insights into this ancient culture. One such intriguing site is the Well of Santa Cristina in Poli Latino. This subterranean temple is an architectural marvel, featuring a trapezoidal vestibule, a descending staircase, and a circular well chamber. The well is constructed with meticulously cut basalt blocks, forming a perfect dome over the chamber. What makes it even more captivating is its precise alignment with the sun during the equinoxes, where sunlight penetrates the entrance and illuminates the water inside, creating a striking visual effect. The precision of the stone cutting and the dry construction technique reflect advanced knowledge of geometry and engineering. Remarkably, the well remains dry even in the wettest seasons, showcasing sophisticated water management techniques. Theories suggest the well possibly served as a solar calendar marking important agricultural or ceremonial events. Another fascinating aspect of the Nuragic civilization is their craftsmanship in creating bronzetti, small bronze statuettes found at various sites. These figurines, depicting warriors, animals, and deities, are detailed and showcase high levels of craftsmanship. The variety of figures, including intricately detailed warriors and symbolic animals like bulls, highlights the Nuragic people's artistic sophistication and the symbolic importance of these figures in their culture.
The myths of the world, those that have survived, are the Hall of Records of the lost past.
Many of these bronzetti are believed to have been used in ancient ceremonies, serving as votive offerings or representations of mythological stories, and they indicate a society with distinct social roles and a rich pantheon of gods and goddesses. The giants' tombs is another impressive feature of the Nuragic landscape. These megalithic gallery graves consist of a large central stele and a burial chamber covered with massive stone slabs, with entrances often marked by semicircular forecourts. Codu Vecchiu is one of the largest and most well-preserved examples, with its central stele standing over 4 meters high, and the burial chamber designed to accommodate multiple individuals. These tombs demonstrate the Nuragic people's ability to move and manipulate large stones, and were likely used for communal burials, indicating a collective approach to death and the afterlife. Local legends often associate these tombs with giants, reflecting the monumental scale and awe-inspiring nature of these structures. Many of these tombs are oriented to align with specific celestial events, such as solstices or equinoxes, suggesting a deep connection between Nuragic burial practices and astronomical observations. The alignment of giants' tombs with celestial events is similar to other megalithic structures worldwide, indicating that the Nuragic people possessed advanced knowledge of astronomy and used it in their spiritual and everyday lives. These tombs may have served not only as burial sites, but also as locations for ritualistic activities related to ancestor worship and seasonal ceremonies. The communal nature of giants' tombs is reminiscent of other ancient collective burial sites, such as the passage tombs of Newgrange in Ireland, which also align with astronomical events, highlighting the widespread ancient practice of integrating burial rituals with celestial phenomena.
Very ancient structures, thousands of years older than archaeologists suppose, may be hiding in plain view. If you have a relatively short time frame to deal with, then searching for a lost civilization becomes much more complex and much more difficult. But if you have a very long time frame to deal with, there's much more material to investigate. The handiwork of humans is clearly evident in this site.
Have you ever heard of a civilization that rivaled ancient Egypt, but vanished without a trace?
A great civilization that had been destroyed and that had left some survivors who had come to Egypt.
Deep in the heart of Africa, which boasts the world's oldest human artifacts, lies the forgotten kingdom of Kerma. These enigmatic people built massive structures called defufas, but their purpose remains a mystery. Join us as we explore the fascinating history. Kerma Defufa, located near the third cataract of the Nile in what is now northern Sudan, is a significant archaeological site featuring a large mud brick temple known as the Defufa. This impressive structure dates back to around 2500 to 1500 BCE, standing about 18 meters high with a base measuring approximately 50 meters by 25 meters. The term Defufa is derived from the Nubian word for mud brick building, reflecting its construction material and technique. The modern archaeological investigation of Kerma began with George Reisner, a Harvard University archaeologist who started his groundbreaking work in 1913. Reisner's discoveries at Kerma reshaped our understanding of this ancient Nubian civilization, uncovering a vast urban center with extensive burial grounds and a wealth of artifacts.
I want to know what else is going to be found that hasn't been investigated yet at all. We're just touching the edge of a huge mystery.
His findings indicated that Kerma was not just a peripheral settlement, but a major urban center. The artifacts he found, including elaborately decorated pottery, finely crafted statues, and gold jewelry, suggested that Kerma was a significant center of artistic and cultural production, rivaling contemporary Egyptian cities in its complexity and wealth. Continuing Reisner's work, Swiss archaeologist Charles Bonnet began his excavations in the 1970s, which further expanded our knowledge of Kerma's sophisticated society. Bonnet's team unearthed royal tombs adorned with offerings such as ebony and ivory, highlighting the wealth and power of Kerma's rulers. The layout of residential areas revealed a well-organized urban planning system with distinct sectors for various social classes, and the discovery of organized grave sites containing human sacrifices suggested complex spiritual beliefs. These practices, possibly revolving around ancestor worship or the divine nature of kingship, are reminiscent of those observed in other ancient civilizations like the Aztecs.
I believe that it's worth considering the possibility of a remote common ancestor, which passed down key information that was inherited by later cultures.
Kerma's relationship with ancient Egypt provides an intriguing comparison. While both were Nile Valley civilizations, they developed distinct architectural styles and societal structures. Unlike Egypt's hierarchical and theocratic society, evidenced by monumental stone architecture like pyramids, Kerma's use of large mud brick buildings reflects a possibly more communal and egalitarian social structure. This difference is underscored by the different materials and building techniques, yet both civilizations achieved architectural durability and complexity.
I can't help thinking time capsule, that there was an intention to preserve this.
A compelling theory about Kerma's rise to prominence centers on its strategic location, which made it a crucial trade hub between sub-Saharan Africa and the Mediterranean world. This position likely enabled Kerma to control trade routes, exchanging local goods such as gold, ivory, incense, and exotic animal skins for Egyptian grain, wine, and linen. This vibrant trade not only brought economic prosperity, but also facilitated cultural exchange, contributing significantly to the city's development. Continuing from the fascinating historical insights into Kerma's development, the architecture displayed in the Defufa is equally captivating and speaks volumes about the ingenuity of ancient Nubian civilization. The Defufa, a massive mud brick structure that has stood the test of time, remains one of the most enigmatic monuments in African history. Built entirely from mud bricks, its preservation is particularly impressive considering the vulnerability of the material to erosion. The main structure of the Defufa measures about 50 meters in length and 25 meters in width, rising approximately 18 meters high. This monumental size makes it a dominant feature in the flat landscape of the region. The construction technique involved using local Nile mud mixed with straw, which was then sun-dried. The walls are notably thick, some several meters wide, which not only adds to the building's stability, but also its defensive capabilities. The Defufa's internal structure is divided into 3 main platforms, each potentially serving different functions. The first platform may have been used for public ceremonies or gatherings, the second for more exclusive rituals or administrative activities, and the topmost platform likely held sanctuaries or spaces reserved for the elite of Kerma society. Adding to its complexity, the Defufa featured external staircases, a rare element in Nubian architecture, that facilitated access to its various levels, indicating a sophisticated internal hierarchy. The strategic orientation and placement of the Defufa might have also served astronomical purposes, such as marking solstices or equinoxes, a feature common in other ancient monumental structures across the globe.
On the summer solstice, you're going to see the sun rising far to the north of east. Go there on the winter solstice, you're going to see it far to the south of east.
This architectural giant was not just an isolated structure, it was a central hub for the cultural, political, and religious activities of the Kerma culture. Its towering presence, visible for miles around, not only symbolized the authority and centralized power of Kerma's rulers, but likely also served navigational purposes along the Nile. The religious significance of the Defufa cannot be understated. It was likely a place where rituals were performed to ensure the fertility of the land or the prosperity of the people. effectively integrating the community's spiritual life with its leadership. When comparing the defy with the ziggurats of ancient Mesopotamia, both structures share similarities in materials and multi-leveled designs. However, while ziggurats were primarily religious temples, the defy's design suggests it combined defensive, administrative, and ceremonial functions, indicating a nuanced approach to public structures in Nubian society compared to Mesopotamian traditions, where a clearer separation between the sacred and administrative was observed. Turning our attention from the architectural marvels of ancient Nubia to the mysterious landscapes of West Africa, we encounter the enigmatic Senegambian stone circles. These remarkable megalithic sites, distributed across the northwestern edge of Senegal and central Gambia, span a vast area from the River Gambia to the River Saloum, covering about 30,000 square kilometers. Notable sites such as Wassou and Kerbach in the Gambia and Siningayene in Senegal draw the curious and the scholarly alike. The physical characteristics of these stone circles are as fascinating as their distribution. Each circle comprises between 10 to 24 stones made from laterite, a dense iron-rich rock. These stones, roughly cylindrical and standing about 1 to 2 meters high, are often organized in concentric circles or double circles, creating a striking visual impact on the landscape. The stone circles first came to broader recognition through the accounts of European travelers in the mid-19th century, but it wasn't until the 20th century that systematic archaeological investigations began. Gambian historian Aliou Ebrima Cham Diouf played a crucial role in documenting these sites extensively during the mid-1900s, advocating for their preservation. His efforts paved the way for more detailed studies. In the 1970s, significant strides in understanding these formations were made through the work of researchers like Pierre Tilloy. These archaeological excavations helped clarify the chronology and cultural significance of the stone circles, revealing a complex societal structure that had the capacity to coordinate the construction of these monumental works. The discovery of these societal structures reshaped our understanding of the prehistoric cultures of West Africa, indicating advanced social organization and cultural sophistication.
Our understanding of prehistory must change.
In recognition of their significant cultural value, UNESCO designated the Senegambian stone circles as a World Heritage Site in 2006. This recognition not only highlights their importance on a global scale, but also has spurred increased archaeological interest and conservation efforts. The continued exploration and preservation of these stone circles help ensure that the legacy of West Africa's prehistoric cultures continues to inform and inspire future generations. Archaeological excavations have confirmed that the circles primarily served as burial sites, with human remains often found at the center of these circles, accompanied by various artifacts such as pottery, iron tools, and jewelry. These findings indicate a belief in an afterlife and the practice of offering goods to the deceased, highlighting the deep spiritual and cultural dimensions of the societies that built them.
With 130,000 years of human prehistory, of which only the last 13,000 years have been documented because of the archaeological dogma that there was no point in looking deeper. Goodness knows what was happening here in that time that so far just nobody has cared to look for. It could have been the location of hitherto unrecognized advances and developments in the story of civilization.
Welcome to the mysterious world of Gunung Padang, Southeast Asia's largest and most mysterious megalithic site, nestled deep in the mountains of West Java, Indonesia. Today, we're diving into the secrets of this ancient structure that dates back thousands of years. From hidden chambers beneath its massive stone terraces to controversial age, estimates that challenge our understanding of human history, what untold stories does Gunung Padang hold? Stay tuned as we uncover the layers of mystery surrounding this incredible archaeological puzzle. Gunung Padang is shrouded in mystery due to its extensive stone structures and enigmatic origins. The site, situated on a mountain about 30 kilometers southwest of Cianjur and 90 kilometers from Jakarta, first caught the attention of the international community during the Dutch colonial era in Indonesia. Reports dating back to the 1910s describe Dutch historians and archaeologists being intrigued by its large stones arranged in complex patterns. Despite these early recognitions, it wasn't until much later, with the maturity of Indonesia's own archaeological institutions, that Gunung Padang received more thorough exploration. In the mid-20th century, the site was sporadically studied by local researchers, and during the 1970s and the 1980s, Indonesian archaeologists conducted preliminary surveys, noting the extensive terraced structures. However, these were still relatively surface-level explorations. A significant turn in the investigation of Gunung Padang occurred in 2010 when Dr. Danny Hilman Natawijaya, a geologist associated with the Indonesian Institute of Sciences, took an active interest in the site due to its unique geological formations. Dr. Natawijaya's engagement marked the beginning of an in-depth exploration using modern technologies such as ground-penetrating radar, seismic tomography, and advanced radiocarbon dating techniques, which allowed researchers to peer beneath the surface and uncover layers and features previously unseen. From 2011 to 2012, early radiocarbon tests on these layers suggested that the upper visible layers of the site were constructed between 500 and 1500 years ago, aligning with the age of other known megalithic sites in Southeast Asia. However, the narrative took a dramatic turn in 2013 when deeper investigations indicated the presence of layers that could date back to at least 9000 BC and possibly as far back as 20,000 BC. These findings, which suggested a much older timeline for human civilization in Southeast Asia, were further complemented in 2014 by discoveries of potential man-made structures and chambers beneath the mountain's surface, adding layers of mystery and complexity to the site's construction. The implications of these findings are profound, stirring significant debate among the archaeological community. If the estimations hold true, they would indicate that advanced societies capable of complex construction projects existed in Southeast Asia far earlier than previously believed. The exploration of Gunung Padang not only challenges our understanding of prehistoric human activity, but also stirs national pride in Indonesia, leading to increased support from the government for archaeological research to delve deeper into the country's ancient history. This ongoing research continues to unveil new facets of the site, promising to enrich our understanding of early human societies. Gunung Padang is a fascinating archaeological site that showcases the ancient engineering and architectural prowess of its builders. Perched atop a hill and sprawling over an area of roughly 900 square meters, this site is one of Southeast Asia's most significant megalithic complexes. The builders employed a variety of rectangular andesite stones, a volcanic rock noted for its hardness, which they arranged into massive terraces that narrate the tale of different epochs and construction techniques. The stones at Gunung Padang vary widely in size, with some weighing several tons and the largest reaching up to 7 meters in length and weighing over 40 tons. The method used to arrange these heavy stones into terraces would have required not only a sophisticated knowledge of engineering, but also the use of tools like levers, wooden rollers, and perhaps the power of humans or animals. Surrounding these terraces are walls built from columnar joints of volcanic rocks. These walls serve both functional and aesthetic purposes, indicating that the ancient builders not only sought durability against weathering, but also had an eye for design. Radiocarbon dating of the organic materials found within the soil layers tells us that the upper visible layers of the site were constructed between 500 and 1500 BC. However, it is the deeper, less visible layers that truly captivate archaeologists, as advanced imaging techniques suggest there could be constructions buried that date back farther. If these findings prove accurate, Gunung Padang would not only be the oldest known megalithic site in Southeast Asia, but would also rival the age of Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, which is currently considered one of the world's oldest temple complexes. One intriguing theory about Gunung Padang is that it might have served as more than just a communal or ceremonial center. It could have had astronomical purposes. Some researchers believe that the arrangement of the stones and the orientation of the terraces could align with celestial bodies and significant events like solstices and equinoxes, a practice observed in other ancient megalithic sites around the world. This suggests that the site's creators had a sophisticated understanding of astronomy, which they incorporated into their religious and social practices. When compared to Stonehenge in England, which was built between 3000 BC and 2000 BC, Gunung Padang's potential origins around 20,000 BC place it much earlier in the timeline of megalithic construction. While both sites share similarities in their possible astronomical significance and their use of large stones, Gunung Padang's terraces add a unique layer of complexity and grandeur, suggesting that megalithic culture in Southeast Asia could be far older than previously understood. Continuing our exploration of Gunung Padang, let's delve deeper into the remarkable aspects that highlight its ancient architectural ingenuity and potential cosmological significance. The site's construction techniques are particularly impressive due to the massive columnar basalt rocks that comprise its structure. Not native to the immediate area, these rocks were transported several kilometers, showcasing the ancient builders' advanced knowledge in engineering and logistics. The likely method of moving these heavy stones involved rolling them over logs, a challenging feat given the terrain and the weight of the stones, which could reach several tons. Furthermore, the layout of Gunung Padang may reflect more than just architectural intent. It seems to mirror an astronomical blueprint similar to that of Stonehenge or the pyramids of Giza, which align with solstices and other celestial events. This alignment suggests that Gunung Padang might have served as an ancient observatory, with certain stones positioned to mark solar and lunar events, thereby serving a practical purpose in agricultural and ceremonial life. Recent investigations have brought to light another fascinating feature: large underground chambers revealed through geophysical surveys. These chambers could potentially be ancient burial sites or storage for cultural artifacts, representing older construction phases concealed beneath more recent layers. This discovery hints at a much larger and more complex site than what is visible on the surface. The debates surrounding the age of Gunung Padang are as lively as they are pivotal. Some researchers suggest that the site could be up to 22,000 years old, based on indirect dating methods such as analyzing sediment layers and geological formations. These controversial estimates, if proven correct, would challenge the established timelines of human civilization and technology development, making Gunung Padang a key site for understanding prehistoric human societies. Additionally, there are speculative theories about the carvings and inscriptions found at Gunung Padang, possibly indicating cultural links with other distant ancient civilizations. These theories, while not yet proven, suggest that the site could have connections as far-reaching as Africa or the Indian subcontinent, hinting at a more interconnected prehistoric world. An interesting comparison can be drawn between Gunung Padang and Nan Madol, located on the island of Pohnpei in the western Pacific Ocean. Known as the Venice of the Pacific, Nan Madol features ruins linked by canals and constructed with large basalt logs, similar to the massive stone pillars used at Gunung Padang. Both sites demonstrate advanced quarrying, transporting, and assembly techniques in challenging environments, showcasing the ingenuity of their builders and possibly suggesting exchanges of cultural practices and technological knowledge across vast distances. These comparisons not only underline the architectural achievements of these ancient builders, but also enrich our understanding of their capabilities